What's good? What's popping? 6 games on a Tuesday. That's the nice sweet spot, man. Tuesday with 6 games. It's light. You're feeling refreshed. You're feeling like you're sprinting into the slate, man. Shit. It's slow. It's slow. You don't got a lot to go on. How's your National Puppy Days, huh? What you doing? What y'all doing today? Welcome in. Happy to have you here for the next hour or so. If we got to go longer, we'll go longer. We got 6-game slate. We got news that just broke. Some guys, A.V. Bradley, he's still broke, injured, right? He's out. Goran Dragic is going to remain out, so you're going to get Tyler Hero and Kendrick Nunn with some bumps. Gabe Vincent off the bench. We'll be updating those on Patreon shortly. But yeah, cool. That is where we're at right now with injury news. That's about it. We're waiting on still some pretty massive questionable tags that we talked about this morning. James Harden, the biggest domino that could potentially fall today already with that entire team seemingly out. It's going to be like a resurrection of whoever's left on the Nets if indeed James Harden is ruled out as well. So welcome in, everybody. We're waiting for that link, that notification to be hitting over on the YouTube streets. Hopefully you're having a lovely day today. And that's how we're going to start this bad boy off. Any questions you got? Fire them in the chat. Like, subscribe, right? Do those things. We got golf. Golf starts tomorrow at 6:45 a.m. East Coast time, I believe. They moved forward. They pushed forward due to some weather, I believe. The tee time. So it's starting at 6:45 a.m. tomorrow. So some golf tomorrow. Projections are up. Ownership will be up shortly after this stream. We're working on 1 day's less notice, if you will, in the golf streets. That'll be fun. That'll be a fun event. That'll be a fun event for the first couple of days. What's going on? Finesse God says, thinking of getting Hero over on Prize Pick quick before they change it. Anybody else like to pair him with? So we got Prize Picks up. We'll talk about it in a little while. There's definitely a lot of plays that I liked early on today. I'll kind of look through the board. I have not looked deep dive yet. All right, still have 2.5 hours to lock. We'll deep dive looking into it right now. What's interesting on Prize Picks? A lot of people coming into the chat right away looking for Prize Picks. We'll talk about Prize Picks in a little while. We'll get over to Prize Picks when some more people get in here because I know a lot of people are going to have similar questions. What is the Hero over on Prize Picks? I mean, yeah, Hero's minutes are going to be going up pretty significantly for me. Like double-digit minute increase for Tyler Hero now with Goran Dragic's out. Some depth pieces like KZ also out on this team. So I bumped up the minutes, as you can see right here. I'm going to be updating the Patreon projection side of things basically right now too. Not live. We'll multitask, if you will, on my end for Miami. And then we can kind of go through the slate. Brooklyn, is still looking like the spot on the slate to target, if you will. But let's start to update what's happening right now in Miami. Now that we got this news of, potentially 40 minutes in their rotation being gone today, somewhere around there, depending on how much minutes you thought Avery Bradley and KZ were going to play. I personally did not have KZ projected, but with these other guys out, him not being there now obviously leaves more to be desired from a minute standpoint. So I'm going to update these projections now on my end. So 25 is the over-under on Tyler Hero. That is, you can it's a no bet for me. I don't know if they just moved that up quickly. I didn't see what it was before, but 25 on Tyler Hero is a no bet for me. I have Tyler Hero. So let me update these projections. 24.1 is what I have Tyler Hero at now. So I wouldn't touch the over. I wouldn't touch the under. It's too close for me to want to touch either side of that. Jimmy Butler obviously looks a little bit more appealing now. He looks a lot more appealing now over on Superdraft. He'll become a yes for me over on Superdraft with this news. Not much changes for Tyler Duncan. I gave Tyler Duncan an extra minute of play. Not much is going to change there with Goran Dragic out for him. Kelly Olynyk barely, marginally going to move up there. You're going to be getting guys. The biggest beneficiaries here are going to be from a minute standpoint. Tyler Hero, yes, right? I ended up giving him 10 more minutes. Kendrick Nunn, yes, I ended up giving him around 8 more minutes, but then also Gabe Vincent, which doesn't matter for fantasy. I gave Vincent, right now I'm giving Vincent 16 minutes, and sure, that's going to be taking away now, an extra 12 minutes than I gave him earlier out of the 28 from Goran Dragic. It's not going to make it look that much better. Trevor Ariza, I gave an extra minute of a bump, so yeah, not much overall change, some minutes floors for guys like Jimmy Butler, Hero increases, Kendrick Nunn, but from an actually want to play these guys standpoint, not much is going to change. I'm going to update this now on my end, though, so I can put it into the projection side of things. If you want to play Kendrick Nunn at $4,300, it's fine. It's not terrible. It's kind of it's in a player pool for me now, but it's nowhere near one of the top plays on the day. With that all said, we have no Avery Bradley, and we have to take out Goran Dragic. Updating this into the optimizer now so we can start to crunch some lineups with the proper projections in there. Gabe Vincent now moves up for me to about 13.9 fantasy points, and these are now updated in the optimizer as of right now and updated over on Patreon as of right now. All right, cool. We got the chat popping. Perfect timing. Sal, looking good, my man. Did I screw up taking the Heat money line today? I mean, if the reason why you feel bad about the Heat money line is because you're not going to get 28 minutes out of Goran Dragic, I mean, nah. Goran Dragic's not playing for 28 minutes. Not going to screw up the Heat's money line all that much. I mean, obviously, I doubt it even changes the money line. Maybe a half a point. I doubt it really changes the money line much. Probably a half a point, if that. It's not like it's Jimmy Butler or Bam. He's probably the third best player, though. So, Dragic, Bradley, out. For all the patrons in the chat right now, the Patreon projections for the Miami Heat news have just been updated. J-Dot got here. My super draft lineup's ready. Feeling pretty good, says Michael Chaotic. J-Dot in the chat right now. What's going on, J-Dot? J-Dot, didn't you just bink again like last night or the night before that? $1,300 or something crazy? My man J-Dot is just feasting out over on super draft. We love to see it. You love to see it. You're amazing, bro. John Wall helped me out big last night. You were the only one on him. I was the only one on John Wall last night? That is very surprising considering he was $7,100 with no Victor Oladipo. Now, obviously, throughout the day, a lot of like fantastic value opened up. Jaylen Brown opened up more when Jason Tatum got ruled out. Guys from other teams opened up. Obviously, all the Milwaukee guys yesterday. But, yeah, I mean, John Wall, he sucked to start the day, right? He sucked for the first quarter and a half, and then he picked it up and got his first triple-double since, what, like 2017 or 2016, they said? You serious, though? Ain't nobody was on John Wall yesterday? Man, shit. Yeah, John Wall average owned that made him a little bit more appealing. Fellas, got a good amount of Bills Mafia tuning into your streams now. We ride or die with Sal, says Josh Allen. Hey, Josh Allen, you brought the whole Bills Mafia squad to the streams? We appreciate that, man. I'm loving Bam. How do you feel about him? Also, what positions are we paying up for today? I mean, as long as James Harden is playing, he is very quickly the number one option for me in any lineup that I'm building today. Anything with significance on it, it's going to be James Harden. I think that Bam's fine. Bam just missed out on the top 12 plays of the day this morning. Yeah, I think he was literally the first guy out. Yeah, Bam right now is my number 14 overall play. Yeah, Bam's not a yes for me at this point, but I don't have many yeses. On a 6-game slate, there's not going to be that many guys in general in a player pool for me. We can start to talk through some of the lineup construction for today. I'll pull up the optimizer so we can start to map that out. But let's start to talk through some of this. Bam, so right now today, I only have 9 players as a yes, and I only have 43 players in a player pool, which makes sense because it's a smaller size slate. 9 players as a yes, though, is very small for me. So let's just get a lineup going, or let's just get some crunches going. Let's put 38% randomness and max from each team 3. We're gonna get 3 Brooklyn guys in a lot of these. Let's put 3 uniques to try and make it a little bit different. Let's actually go 48% randomness. Let's just tune that shit up. We'll put 20 lineups so it crunches quicker. So let's start to see what some of this stuff looks like. Who you got in the WGC golf, says Jared Liddell. Liddell. What's going on, Jared? How you doing? So I don't have any bets in for the WGC, the match play this week. This is the first time I don't have bets on golf this year. I'm just really not interested. Like, some of the lines look okay. Paul Casey was like somebody that I really like in DFS, really like in the match play. Match plays great. In my opinion, this is the best Paul Casey has looked in a 4, 5, 6 stretch of golf, overseas included, in quite some time. But his odds were like 25 to 1 when they opened. So there's obviously a lot of guys that you can like, but at the same time, they have to beat 3 guys. Like, you're not getting enough value on any of those lines, in my opinion. Like, any betting lines this week are just for entertainment, in my opinion. I don't think there's much value on those lines. They have to beat 3 other people just to get into the tournament, right, in that group play. So I'm not taking any outrights in the WGC golf this week. If no info before lock, what stud if I fade Harden for fear of not playing him? What's going on, John? So I'm not really sure what you're saying there. I mean, I like Harden. I don't know if you mean no info before lock in terms of his questionable tag, and you're going to try and leverage it and hope that he's out and everybody else has him and can't scramble to get somebody else. I mean, the stud after that for me is Nikola Jokic. It's not really surprising. I'd rank the studs today: Harden, Jokic, Lillard, and Westbrook. That's how I'd rank the studs today. Unfortunately, got off the wall when they said they were limiting his minutes. Yeah, man, you shouldn't have done that. Hopefully you were in the Discord yesterday. I didn't change anything in the minutes projections of Christian Wood or Dave or Wall. They said the exact same thing on Sunday. We're going to limit their minutes, and they both played like 36 minutes. So second night of a back-to-back, maybe you think it's more so serious, but once Kevin Porter went out, the point per minute production increased for John Wall and Christian Wood in the projections. The minutes for me did not change. They even looked like better plays than that. Hey, Sal, did you see what happened in Boulder yesterday? Just want to say I appreciate you. Did you see what happened in Boulder yesterday? Just want to say I appreciate you. I appreciate that, Ian. I saw some things on the news, and a friend, when I was talking to him on the phone on a walk today, told me about it. I guess I saw some things on the news. Literally just means I talked to my friend because I don't watch the news. But very sad, very sad, very sad. Lost my big head-to-head yesterday by 2 points because Zubac did nothing second half against 23 in the first half. Not great. Not great. Aaron Gordon today, yeah, I'm still concerned about the minutes. I want to get to Aaron Gordon. We can pull up some of these lineups now that I'm fucking noticing that they're on the screen. I would like to get to Aaron Gordon, but I'm a little bit concerned about the minutes. So here's one lineup option today. So this is what this is spitting out early on. RJ Barrett, it's giving me. We got a lot of randomness on, so it's going to give us some unique lineups here, and that's what you're seeing. We're also playing 3 uniques as well, so it's going to make it a little bit more difficult for us to get 3 Brooklyn Nets in a lineup. So you still get Harden. Harden's going to be like forced into everything at that projection. I mean, this projection is just insane. 65.17 is what I have him at today. Jordan Poole looks very good today. So all these guys make sense, right? Kuzma, all these guys make a lot of sense in my opinion, and I don't think many of them pick up their proper ownership today. So these are some of the top projected lineups right now. This is with high randomness on it. I'm sure if we take the randomness off, you'll get even better. The fella of all the fellas, it's Sal V. What's going on, Michael? How you doing? I got Bam on the over 41 fantasy points today. I currently have Mr. Bam Adebayo projected for 41.92, so I would agree on the over, but it's not enough for me to bet that over. Thoughts on Ayton today? Yeah, still cheap. Just kind of there. Just not really anybody that excites me in Ayton. If he gets 32 minutes, yeah, he's fine. But he's averaging just a point per minute production below that over the last month. It's concerning for Ayton right now. I have for 28.83. He's in a player pool for me, but he's not a priority. What Lakers are we looking at? I'm thinking Dennis Schroeder. Well, Dennis Schroeder today is my cover picture of this video. So, yeah, Dennis Schroeder is my favorite Laker right now. I would rank the Lakers as of right now. Dennis Schroeder, Montrezl Harrell, and then a massive, massive gap down to Talonhorn Tucker, KCP, who they're trying to trade right now, Caruso, Kuzma, all those guys down there. Kuzma will be lower owned, though. That's why he's appealing when he pops up in something like this. Yeah. Enes Kanter looks like a building block piece today, especially if you're playing cash. Josh Hart, more so want to see what happens with Lonzo here if we get Josh Hart. Claxton, we talked about him in the video this morning. Claxton's going to be looking very appealing today. We'll be interested to see what the final ownership numbers on Nicholas Claxton come in at. I'm sure with not a lot of value today, he will push on a smaller slate, 20+% ownership. Depending on how high that gets, I think that's decent. Jamal Murray is also somebody that I like. Jamal Murray continues to not pick up high ownership, and Jamal Murray continues to be dirt cheap. He's $7,000, $7,100. Jamal Murray. This is going to be a guy who's 10% owned who's going to go out there and shoot 20+ times and have a decent assist percentage today. Fellas, let's like and sub to Sal. What's going on, Skylar? Yeah, we paid. Hit that like and subscribe. So this is what the big energy optimizer is. That's why we're showing it. We're just kind of trying to preview what you can do with this and also just see kind of what some lineup construction looks like today. A lot of these lineups, I mean, we're putting 48% randomness on, so it's giving us differentiated lineups. It's giving us some very different lineups. Let's see if we lower the randomness, and then you'll start to get a little bit more of the quote-unquote chalkier lineups. So let's lower the randomness a good amount to 15 and then kind of look back at what happens there. Is Harden and Westbrook lineup possible? Yeah, the two of them together is possible. There's enough value on this slate. There's 3 decent like 3K options. A lot of guys in the 5 and 6K range, so you can definitely get up to both of them. You just have to hope that they both go for those 80, 70, high 60-point games, right, for it to pay off for you. So if we try to slow down the randomness, you start to get a more chalky build here, but it's still a build that I'm not totally against because I like Brandon Ingram a good amount today. He was in our top 12 plays today. I like Dennis Schroeder a good amount today. He was in our top 12 plays today. So those are guys that I think will not be as highly owned as they should be today. Ingram makes himself into this lineup. That's appealing, right? You can be sure that James Harden is going to pick up ownership, and so is Bruce Brown. So that makes sense, and so is Jordan Poole. So you're going to be having chalk in these lineups. Claxton will be 20% owned, but the rest of it's not bad. Jay Crowder is going to be a cheaper option at 4,500. Still getting decent minutes out there at this point, right? Continues to start. Ingram will be average owned. RJ Barrett right now, the price point coming up. I really don't like ever playing RJ Barrett, but with the price point coming up, it's going to make RJ Barrett just, 6-7% owned today. So it's giving some upside from that perspective. So yeah, I based on my projections and what I'm doing right now in some of these groups and the optimizer, you can check it out, linked in the description below if you want to play around with the optimizer. It seems like we're naturally going to be different. So that just makes the slate a whole lot easier. In terms of the chalk today, it seems like naturally you're just going to get different today, which is nice. Like Michael Porter Jr. is picking up ownership. That's comical to me. That's pretty comical to me. Andrew Wiggins, people continue to want to go back to the well on that. I guess it's not comical, but I'm not too excited. Robert Covington, people want to play him at a high rate. I guess. I've like 0 to no interest in Robert Covington today. Paul Millsap, people are just begging for value right now. I'm good. Good low-owned option, says Cosma. Kamaza, everybody. Just pick a name. They're probably going to be low owned and a lot of upside today. Joe Harris with all these guys out is a decent low owned value, especially if he goes over to the power forward spot with Blake Griffin down there. I doubt it, but still, you're going to be getting Jamal Williams, lower owned upside, right? Just to name a couple. Alex Len, if he does anything like he did yesterday, low owned with upside. RJ Barrett, low owned with upside. Bam Adebayo, low owned with upside. I mean, this entire slate, like a lot of the guys that I like today are low owned with upside. Bam Adebayo is borderline top 10 play for me, and that guy's probably going to come in with 5% ownership today. I get it. There's a lot of fucking centers on the slate, so it's tough to kind of squeeze him in. Kelly Oubre, top 12 play for us today. I bet you Kelly Oubre will be like 5% owned today. So, yeah, low owned upside everywhere, in my opinion. The whole motherfucking slate. Shit, what was that stud order? My bad. Yeah, what's going on, Josh? I mean, the stud order for me is Harden on his own tier, then Jokic, then Westbrook, or then Lillard, then Westbrook in that order. Thanks, Al. That's what I meant, and you deciphered it well. Don't want to get stuck with Harden and scrambling if he's ruled out. There you go, my man. There you go. Service cut out, no problem. You like Claxton tonight? Yeah, I do like Claxton. I'll pull up Brooklyn's minutes. I'm giving Claxton 22 minutes tonight, which is relatively low, but he still projects out for me for over 23 fantasy points, so it looks good. Your best super draft pick, says Edward. What's going on, Edward? How you doing, boss man? My top super draft plays in this order right now: James Harden, Julius Randle, Damian Lillard, Russell Westbrook, Brandon Ingram, Bam Adebayo, RJ Barrett, based on projection. RJ Barrett has a very nice 1.6x multiplier. It's sexy. It's hot. It's big. It's going to get you there. 1.6x multiplier. We like that. 1.35x on CJ McCollum, but those minutes quickly coming back. Also very appealing. What's up, my guy Sal? What's going on, JM? Salutes. Greetings from Peru. Ready to make this money. Who's the best value? We're ready to make that money. Bruce Brown right now is my best value play. He was the number one play earlier today. He remains that number one play right now for me. How about Enes Kanter? Enes Kanter remains my number 4 play in the slate and the best center option overall, in my opinion. Claxton does look pretty good as well, but Kanter looks like the best center option. I mean, he's just an absolute buy low spot. If he plays 30 minutes, the last 2 games were blowouts. I'm not looking at his minutes and saying, oh, Sally only played 23 minutes. He only played 16. Yeah, they're blowouts. They lost by 40 in their last game. You think they're going to keep starters on the court? No. Which also in that game, if you look at the first half, CJ McCollum was playing his normal minutes. So also something to keep in mind there as well. How do you feel about Brandon Ingram? A couple of people are saying he's a top play lock for tonight. I mean, top play lock, no. No, he's not a top play lock. He's my number 11 overall play, which by no means means a lock. He's a top 11 play. So, yeah, Brandon Ingram looks good. He's going to have average ownership. Does he look like a slam dunk play? No, not at all. I mean, he's facing a beat-up Lakers team. Zion's still out there, right? If Lonzo plays, Lonzo's still out there for assists, for a couple of shots, 4 assists, right? Rebounds mainly. As like a 12 to 15% rebounding guard in Lonzo. So Brandon Ingram looks fine. If Brandon Ingram was $8,100 today, I could tell you right now, I probably wouldn't have much interest. So him being $7,800, he's very price sensitive at that price tag. That's what keeps him in play. There's not that many standout screaming values today. Like if we're talking about screaming values that actually have a decent amount of points upside, you're probably looking at, you can count them on 2 hands. 8, 7, right? Brandon Ingram is not one of them. Yeah, I'm loving Jamal Murray today. Good team total, and he's due for one of those 50 bombs. Yeah, I mean, those 50 bombs for Jamal Murray usually have to result in him scoring like 35 to 40 actual real-life points, which is definitely a possibility. Timeout Sports Podcast says Prize Picks favorites today. Yeah, I'll bring that up in a second. Fantasy Football Addict says thoughts on the Knicks backcourt. What's going on, Fantasy Football Addicts? So for the Knicks backcourt today, it's not appealing. Nothing's appealing there. They're all priced up because now Derrick Rhodes is back. So Quickly, I don't really think plays much minutes. I have Quickly at 18 minutes today. Now with Derrick Rose back, now with this backcourt healthy, it's tough, right? We'll see what happens with Alfred Payton, who's questionable, but I have Payton in for 24. Derrick Rose in for 24 in his return. Alec Burks in for 26. RJ Barrett, of course, in for big minutes at 35. There's just not enough minutes around for them, right? Even Reggie Bullock, only a small forward, playing 30. I Frank Ntilikina playing 6. They're just cutting into each other too much. Like Derrick Rose, if you think he can average a fantasy point per minute, if you think in this nice matchup against Washington he can play 24-plus minutes, I have him in a player pool just because I don't think people play him off of being injured. But it's not that appealing, to be honest with you. He's like Derrick Rose would be my favorite play out of all those second tier, not counting RJ Barrett, second tier guys. And I think Rose for me grades out as one of my lowest owned interests. Let me pull it up. Derrick Rose currently ranks out as my 32nd overall play. So not the greatest, right? Not the greatest. What are the 3K options on this slate today? It's Tyler Johnson. We'll see if he starts. It only gets better for him today at 3,100. I literally only have him for 16.97 fantasy points. So he's not even a priority. He's not a yes for me. He's in a player pool though. James Harden is out. It's only better for Tyler Johnson. After that, Nicholas Claxton. So Nicholas Claxton, Tyler Johnson, Alex Lynn, and then PJ Dozier, probably in that order right now. There's Paul Millsap on the slate. Some people will go there. Now the sticker shock of him being at 3,900 and not 4K flat, it'll make people jump to him. Those are probably the only actual options. Good low ownership plays today. Yeah, so we answered that one already. How are you projecting for ownership? So I project for ownership on my own right now. I would classify it as in a beta since since the bubble came back, right around this time last year, right when the NBA halted last year. But that's in a beta, so I just have that for myself. I'm not going to be offering that at this point, mainly because it's in a beta and I don't even fully trust it. So then I basically use like a consensus of like 4 other places in the industry. None with Dragic's out. Yeah, what's going on, Dan? Not really interested. I already updated this. None got into a player pool for me, so sure, you can play him, but very low priority for me. These are Miami's minutes now with those guys out. You can check it out right there. Aiden at $5,900 in a player pool. 0 no interest. Haha, you the man, Sal. Yeah, thanks. Salio, Queens, New York. I'm in this bitch. What's going on, the Miz? How you doing? What's up, my dude? What's up? Interest in Derrick Jones Jr.? Never that. I mean, Derrick Jones Jr. might be my last ranked play today. Let's see. Derrick Jones Jr., my 47th ranked play today for 17.8 fantasy points. Not great. Okay, playing Claxton and Canner in the same lineup, single tournaments? Yeah, seems fine. Who do you go under on the prize picks? I'll pull it up in a second. Jimmy Butler interest? No. Carmelo feels like a sneaky play against the Nets today. I mean, if you think Carmelo can drop 20-plus real-life points, then play him. I mean, that's the only way he gets there for you, right? Like Carmelo, if we pull up, let's pull up add more funds because Carmelo contributes like nothing anywhere else. I mean, at this point in his career, especially since he's not playing close to the basket with Robert Covington there now, at this point in his career, Carmelo is going to contribute, I mean, basically nothing outside of pure scoring. With CJ McCollum back, his pure scoring ability drops massively. So you can see Carmelo, 11% assist percentage, 12% defensive rebounding rate, 7% total rebounding rate. I mean, these are terrible numbers, right? 24% usage, but obviously CJ McCollum has been out for a while. He's only shooting 49.1%. I mean, Melo has been absolutely disgusting this year. Just brutal. Makes sense. I mean, older man. But, yeah, no interest in Carmelo. You like Draymond Green today? All of these Golden State guys, they priced them up pretty quick, right? They priced these guys up really quick. So Draymond's not in my player pool. I would rank Golden State today: Jordan Poole, Kelly Oubre, Andrew Wiggins, Damian Lee, and then Draymond after that. You like the 76ers -4 line tonight? I don't have any interest in betting the NBA outside of player props over unders and DraftKings, like DFS type stuff, Super Draft, all that. I don't have any interest in like pure lines. Like the NBA lines, if you're betting them 2 hours before the game locks, long term, you're never going to win a penny. Those lines are like usually after like an hour or two of being locked in outside of injuries, they're as firm and solid as they get. So you're basically just betting on coin flips, except on coin flips now at this point, because the line is so efficient, right? It's like trying to buy a stock or after everybody just bought it. Now the market has set the price properly. The only difference now is it's not a true 50-50 because you pay the VIG, right? The sports book is going to take their percentage. They're -110, and you're going to pay a VIG, so you're paying now to do a coin flip, which doesn't make much sense. But in general, like NBA just has brutal lines. They're very, very difficult to beat the NBA lines because of how quickly those lines are going to adjust, basically, right? Every single day, they already kind of have that information. They adjust kind of overnight a lot of the times. Any Tyler Johnson love if Harden misses? Yeah, he'll probably be my number 1 play, assuming that he starts if Harden was to miss. I'll pull up Brooklyn's minutes right now. How many fantasy points do you usually need from a 3K 4-play player to get you there in general average? No pure number. It depends on the slate. It depends on the slate, your target score for that slate, and that will change every single day. So if you ever hear a creator or your friend tell you, oh, this guy was $3,000 and he got me 5x value at 15 points, that's all I needed from him. I mean, just stop listening to that person, right? I mean, like 10x plus 4 is maybe a way to identify value in that range, right? Like if you wanted to say the guy was 3K, you go, or 4x plus 10, so times 4 is 12, plus 10 is 22. So 3K guy getting you 22, now you're starting to talk a little bit. But it all depends. It all depends on that specific day's target score. There's no true way to compare guys who are all the way up at the top compared to guys all the way up at the bottom. Again, 4x plus 10 might be the best way to do it. But there's no true way, because a guy at $3,000 to get you 5x and 15 fantasy points is dog shit. You're not winning anything with that probably. A guy at 3x will get you 6x and get you 18 fantasy points. Oh, he got me 6x, right? That's why Tyler Johnson's not a priority for me today. He's 3,100. He's grading out for like close to 6x, but he's grading out for 17 fantasy points. If he actually scores me 17 fantasy points today, the only way I win is if Harden and Jokic or whoever the two studs I'm able to pay up for at that point can both go for like 75 points, right? Derrick Rhodes for low ownership play? Sure. You like Alex Len? He's in a player pool, yes. Oubre is a yesterday in your projection. What makes him so appealing to you? The minutes are going to be coming up for Kelly Oubre. Oh, I just got a voicemail, I believe, from Ohio. It's probably one of these, like, your car insurance. Yeah, fucking car insurance shit. Fake car insurance shit. Yeah, so it's just the point per minute production at what I suspect to be increasing minutes for Kelly Oubre. And also when you factor in those things, factor around a low ownership number. Like Kelly Oubre, you might see Kelly Oubre, the percentage of fingers that you have on one hand, 5, 4, 3, 2, somewhere around there in ownership today. That is a massive, massive problem when Steph Curry's not out there. Kelly Oubre was $6,800, $7,000, right? Literally 1 to 2 to 3 weeks ago. Playing very fine, playing okay. He's going to get those shot attempts back, and his minutes are going to get back to normal. The reason why his minutes aren't back to normal right now, 36, 37 minutes, like he was playing before the All-Star break, is he's working his way back from an injury, and they're slowly getting there. 32, 33 minutes last time out, right? Blowouts, limited him to 30 minutes games before that. So, yeah, Kelly Oubre I have today for 33 minutes. There's an upside for even more than that. And I have Kelly Oubre for a point per minute, and there's an upside even to that. Thanks, Al. You're the man. No, you're the man. Are you sure Rhodes is even playing today? They said that he's off the injury report, and he's listed as probable on the Knicks website. Porter Jr. tonight against Orlando. Porter Jr. tonight against Orlando, not interesting to me. I assume we're talking Michael Porter Jr. That's what they're playing, right? Yeah. Michael Porter Jr. is not interesting at 6,700 to me. I expect, like, if you told me Michael Porter Jr. was as owned as Kelly Oubre will be tonight, like 6, 7, 5, 4, somewhere in that range, yeah, I would go ahead and I would get over to Michael Porter Jr. But Michael Porter Jr. right now, from what I'm seeing, is coming up for close to 20% ownership, and that is just disgusting. A guy who is as streaky as it gets. His minutes are never solid because he's a liability on defense, so his minutes are never solid in crunch time. As streaky as it gets from a shooting standpoint, is priced up to 6,700 for being just a point per minute producer, is not playing 35 minutes a game. You're lucky if you can get him for 30 to 32, and now people want to own him. Like, you're trying to guess the night this guy gets hot shooting, and when everybody's trying to guess it, doesn't make for much sense in my opinion. How would you prioritize the Brooklyn guys if Harden is out? What's going on, Andrew Martinez? Yeah, I mean, I would have to see the starting lineup, right? Would have to see the starting lineup there. Is it Tyler Johnson starting? Is it TLC starting? Is it probably Bruce Brown being the main priority still? Only gets better for him, but who is starting in that starting lineup ahead of that? Joe Harris, all of them. They all look great. The exact prioritization will be updated in the projections, but I would have to see the starting lineup. So if you can give me a starting lineup, we can then, or a guess at your starting lineup, we can then go through it. But I will wait until we get that news if needed. Randall or Butler in the forward spot? Give me Randall. Thanks for the advice. No problem. You want at least 6X, says Jonathan. Yeah, it depends. Big Energy hoodie arriving tomorrow. Time to represent. Love the optimizer. It's changed my game entirely, says Danny H. My man Danny, you got the Big Energy hoodie coming tomorrow? We love to hear that. Yeah, we got a merch store. A lot of people don't know because I don't plug it often, but, you might as well have one because I like to buy. I literally made it so that I can buy the clothing. I made it so I could buy the hoodies and the shirts that say fellas on them. So we got a hoodie in there. We got a Dollarooski's t-shirt. My girlfriend's got one. I got to buy some more. I was saying that yesterday, actually. So, yeah, check it out. Check out the merch store in the description. But nice to hear that. Happy the optimizer is helping you out, my man. Yeah, if anybody wants to check out the optimizer, go for it. It will help. Barrett or Wiggins today? Give me RJ Barrett at a third of the ownership today. How do you feel about Derrick Jones Jr. for value? Never that. Dog like DFS, Birdies or Bust says, prefer the 2-stud build, Harden/Jokic, over a more balanced build for this slate. I prefer the 2-stud build. Yes, I think there's enough value on this slate. Thanks, brother. That was perfect response. Big energy. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. If Ball is out, is Walker a yes? Yeah, if Ball is out, Nickeil Alexander-Walker will be a top 2 value play in the slate today. Tiger Queer says, Salvatore, you think Gasol sneaky play? What do you project? And you think Rose plays at least 25 minutes? I have Rose for 24 minutes today, and I think Gasol looks absolutely terrible today. I have no interest in Gasol ever. And LeBron being out doesn't change Gasol's role. Like, I don't know why people, like last time before Gasol got ruled out, people were like, oh, first of all, I don't know if Gasol's going to play. You can see I have 24 minutes on Derrick Rose right here. But Gasol today looks, as terrible as ever. Even if he was 0% owned, I'd have 0% interest, right? And he'll probably be right around there. I have Gasol today for 0 minutes of play. So I'm not projecting him in. If I projected Gasol in, I'd give him 14 to 16 minutes. Nothing changes for Marc Gasol with LeBron being out. He literally is going to play the same minutes behind Montrezl Harrell. They might even put Markieff Morris at center for him at times against a team in New Orleans when Steven Adams isn't on the court as a small ball option. Bam or Zion today? Give me Bam. Sal, we were so close with our 20 for 200 on NBA Prize Pick, somebody said. Yeah, who was the one fella? Was it Laurie? I'm trying to think. John Wall got there. I ended up still having a very nice day because I hope a lot of people ended up snagging this. If you're in the Discord, there's many benefits to it. But yesterday, I was just like, the second that Oladipo, or not Oladipo, Brogdon got ruled out, Miles Turner got ruled out, I literally ran immediately over to Prize Picks and saw Karis LeVert at 30 over under on fantasy points. My new projection on him was like 37 fantasy points. So threw that into the Discord. Some people were able to take advantage of it, but that was similar to the John Collins earlier this year, like 2 weeks ago, when Clint Capella got ruled out, and then John Collins was just literally free money. That happened last night yet again. So how would you prioritize the Brooklyn guys if Harden's out? All right, so we answered that one. Talonhorn Tucker for LA tonight, not currently interesting to me all that much with his projection, where his price point up like over $1,000 now. Hey, Sal, what is the projected pace higher to lower today? Like projected game paces? Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if I've updated this for today since yesterday. New York and Washington will be a higher pace game. Golden State and Philly right now, but obviously Steph Curry's not there to push the pace. Embiid being out will probably make that pace go up a little bit more as well. So some of those games. A lot of the paces look pretty decent today. You'll probably see a slower pace game with the Lakers and New Orleans. New Orleans totally flipped the script from their pace since like the last 2 years. We got prize picks here. You guys want to talk about prize picks now? Everybody be answering them prize picks questions in the chat. Let's talk prize picks. Let's do it. Fuck it. So people want to know about prize picks. Here you go. A lot of people already asking about it. We talk about it in the Discord a whole lot. It's a lot of fun prize picks. So we can go through some of these over-unders quickly. We touched on some this morning. If you want to use the code SAL, you can see it in green on the screen. Green on the screen. How about that rhyme? Wrap it up. Right there, you can see it. Use the code SAL, S-A-L, you get a free money bonus up to $100. These lights are blinding me. I need to put these on. I'm about to fucking faint on this screen. You can use that to get the free money match. You put 20 in, they'll give you 20 back. You put 40 in, they'll give you 40 back, all the way up to $100 Rooskies. It's an over-under on fantasy points, over-under player props. It's a lot of fun. I currently want to see, so where I'm looking at right now, some of these, they're pretty solid. Some of these are pretty solid. Like I have Jokic close to 57 points. That's not enough for me to really want to get to Jokic at this point. Randall already got all the way up to 50. That's a pretty steep projection on him. Alec Burks, they're keeping at 28, even though Derrick Rose is back. That might be a spot to snag an under. I'm still looking at the question, so don't worry about that. I'm going to snag the under on Alec Burks. They're keeping Alec Burks at 28. Assuming Derrick Rose is indeed back and playing today, you can double check that on your end. I'm going to snag the under on Alec Burks today. I have Rui Hachimura at 28.1, so that's exactly a wash for me. I still like the over on Dennis Schroeder. We got it at 32 this morning. We told you it's going to go up. It's up to 33. I thought it might go up higher. So that looks appealing right now. Zion, I still like the under. Zion stayed at 44. He's a popular player, so people like taking the over. I still like the under. I'm going to probably double down on that with something else. Now we have some more lines on here. Tyler Hero, even with Goran Dragic's out, he still projects out for 21 points and 24 points and change for me. Not that appealing. A lot of these lines look pretty solid. I'll pull up Golden State's minutes right now. So Golden State for me, I have Draymond at like 36.5 points. So if you wanted to take the over on Draymond, I can see you getting there. Looking at Philadelphia now for some of their lines on here. So Philly, Dwight Howard, he's okay. Like Tobias Harris, they're all fine. The guys from Philly. Andrew Wiggins, if anything, I'd lean the under. Like 37.5 points for Andrew Wiggins is a lot. Andrew Wiggins might be one of my favorite plays on the under. I have him at 33.4 points today. So Andrew Wiggins and I would say Zion unders look the most appealing from an under standpoint. A lot of unders today. We don't normally take the unders. Alec Burks on the under, over on Dennis Schroeder. Based on my projections right now, looking for projections that are like a 3 or 4 point difference. Harden I have for 65 points, but obviously the higher you go up, the harder it is to exactly have that perfect game out of him. But I have Harden at 65 points and change. If he's rolled out, they'll kind of refund that one for you. They'll take it out of what you're doing. But be sure, this is the biggest thing today. If Harden gets ruled out, be sure to come over to Prize Picks, link in the description. Again, that code SAL gets you some benefits. Be sure to come into it and go ahead and snag the over on Joe Harris if Harden is out, right? You can feel more confident in the overs on DeAndre Jordan and Nicholas Claxton, right? There's just going to be so much to go around on this team if indeed Harden gets ruled out today. To finish it up with some of these Portland guys, McCollum, I have him at 37.9 points. So let's build kind of like an official card here, if you will. So I'll take the over on McCollum. I want to wait on what happens with Harden right now, but I'll take the over on McCollum right now. What do I have? Robert Covington at 27. That's fine. Over on McCollum, 34. The under on Wiggins, 37.5. The under on Zion, and the over on Dennis Schroeder. That's what I'll take right now. But I'm going to wait to lock in any more until we get some news on Harden, because then I would love to just go in here and take the over on Joe Harris and DeAndre Jordan. So hopefully that helps the fellas out. So let's look at what some of those new lineups are building out for us. Josh Hart tonight, I'll be playing him if Lonzo is out. I'll be playing Josh Hart if Lonzo is out tonight. How you doing? We put the zoom up on me by accident. How you like this shirt? Not too bad, huh? So let's look at some of these other lineups. When we take less ownership or less randomness on them, you'll start to see a little bit maybe chalkier builds to an extent. I made money off of Alexander and Collins, but you said, though, ×3, my man. What are we doing Prize Picks today? There you go. Yeah, we just went over Prize Picks, so you probably got it now that I'm reading this a little late. Matthew says, RotoWire says, Rose will need time to get back into the shape and expect him out for several days. Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I hear people talk about RotoWire sometimes. I don't know what it is, and there's been plenty of times when people have told me the blurbs from whatever RotoWire is, and them shits don't be working out too well. So once the official team announces something, I'll believe it. But when a beat writer, or not even a beat writer, a blurb writer is speculating on things, I'll usually wait until the team announces something, which in like 5 minutes, the Knicks can announce that Derrick Rose is indeed out. Like Chase Randall, like Terrence Ross, literally just got ruled out seconds ago. So Terrence Ross and Chase Randall are ruled out for today. I have Ross, I believe, at like 28 minutes. So we'll come back to these lineups in a second, these projections. So yeah, I have Ross at, I believe, 28 minutes. I had Randall. I don't think I had him at that many minutes now with all these guys back. Maybe like 12 minutes. Let's see. I had Randall at 10 minutes and I had Ross at 28 minutes. So a lot more minutes now to go around in Orlando. A lot of those minutes will probably be filled by bums. It makes Evan Fournier a more solidified play today with no Terrence Ross next to him. But you're probably going to get a lot of minutes out of Dwayne Bacon, a lot of minutes out of James Ennis, a lot of minutes out of, Gary Clark will probably enter the rotation. None of those guys are ever great for me. Danny Green, no real interest. Any interest in the Orlando players? Yeah, so I'll be updating the projections in about 25 minutes once we're done with this stream. I'll update them for all the Orlando news that we just got. Barrett or Burks for New York today? Give me Barrett. If Ball is out, is Hardy? Yes. His price point, let me see his price point. I have it projected as Ball's in right now, so I just want to check Hart's price point. 5,100. Hart would become a maybe. He would go from like a maybe to almost 300 people watching and only 15 likes. A lot of time and effort goes into this. Hook the brother up. What's going on, Elaine? How you doing? Yeah, hit the like, subscribe, do those things. I always forget. I've been forgetting to say that since NFL ended. I've been forgetting to tell people to subscribe to this motherfucking channel. Like I know there's 300 of you out there right now watching this live, and not everybody subscribes to the channel. Take 2 seconds of your time. Hit that button. What you got to lose? Wiggins or McCollum? Give me McCollum. Who's your favorite play between 5,300 and 4,600 today? That favorite play would end up being Bruce. You're kind of exempting that range of Bruce Brown. So let me say right here. That favorite play would be Jordan Poole at 5,600. You're excluding out. You give me like the shittiest range, my guy. That's probably why you're asking. Jonathan says between 53 and 46. I'm going to be scrolling a while. I'm going to be scrolling a real long time. Joe Harris at 5,400. Lakers fans really thought Marc Gasol and Harrell were the big offseason moves that would make them unstoppable. Yeah, literally the day that they got Montrezl Harrell, I made a post and said that the Lakers got worse this offseason. When they got Montrezl Harrell and Marc Gasol, I made a post and said the Lakers got worse this offseason. And people who like fantasy sports and not actual real life basketball were commenting back like I was somebody who didn't understand the game of basketball and how it's actually played. People were trying to tell me that the acquisitions of Montrezl Harrell and Marc Gasol were better than what the Lakers ended up losing from last year. I was baffled. But that's just like when people are clearly looking at players who contribute in fantasy, like Montrezl Harrell, to compare to guys who contributed to the Lakers in major ways last year, like JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard at the position. Like they definitely were better last year at center. JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard is a better real-life center combination than the ghost of Marc Gasol and Montrez. I'll play offense for 20 minutes a game and nothing else, Harrell, right? Not even to account the other pieces. Like, yeah, sure, they got Wesley Matthews, but not even to account the pieces that they ended up having to lose in the deal. Getting Dennis Schroeder, sure, like, okay, a decent offensive weapon that's looking decent for you right now. He doesn't move the needle at all, in my opinion, right, compared to some of the guys that they ended up losing. Rather have Rondo. If we're talking playoffs, the Lakers aren't playing for the regular season. They're playing for the playoffs. So we're talking playoffs. Give me Rondo over Dennis Schroeder any day. I turned 100 into 750 on Prize Picks yesterday. My man, Timeout Sports Podcast. That's all the plug you need for Prize Picks. We just talked about Prize Picks. If you're still debating it, if you're still one or two people out there like, hey, you know what, I'll sign up later tonight. That's all you need right there, right? The projections that we have will help you out. My man yesterday signed up for it, I assume yesterday, if you got turned into it yesterday, and he turned $100 into $750. Making $650 a day, that's what, $250,000 a year if you keep that up? Not bad. Every $100 per day is like $33,000 a year usually if you per day. Yeah, that's not bad. Not bad. You telling us don't play Rose? Rose is in a player pool for me. If he gets ruled out, he'll obviously not be. Gasol is atrocious. He is slower than a snail. People cannot get through their heads what a step back player the Lakers took with Gasol and Harrell versus Howard and McGee. That man literally wrote that before I even said it because I'm scrolling down through older messages. Yeah, if we're talking in fantasy basketball, I mean, I'd even have Dwight Howard and McGee over those two guys too, right? But man, people like get all up and down about Montrezl Harrell because Lou Williams, I mean, fed that guy so many times on the pick and roll. All right. There was like 1 year where Montrezl Harrell was like in the running for 6th man of the year. When, Lou Will still deserved it. Like Lou Will didn't make fully Montrezl Harrell who he is, but a lot of it, right? But one side of the court, Montrezl Harrell did not move the needle, right? One side of the court, Dennis Schroeder, did not move the needle on championship or bust Lakers team. No, not at all. Guys like Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee, and Rondo moved the needle more than those guys. Randall went from 44 to 50. I was 30 seconds late, so pissed. Yeah, I'm curious why that happened. Like, is that many people took the over on him? That many people took the over on him to move it 6 points? Like, it started out, don't get me wrong, it started out low. I have him at 49 fantasy points right now. But it's pretty interesting, right? Pretty interesting. They threw all their defensive athleticism out the window. 100%. Yeah, they put a grandpa down there for 16 minutes a game in Marc Gasol. Wiggins just went down by 2.5. Uh-oh. That's because everybody on this channel went to bet him. What about Jamal Murray on Prize Picks? They're having a promo on him. Yeah, so Ian brings up the promo on Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray, if you end up rostering Jamal Murray in Prize Picks today, every single 3 that he makes, you'll get $3 back in credits from Prize Picks. So I have Jamal Murray at 36.3 fantasy points. His over-under on Prize Picks today, I believe, is 35. I haven't refreshed the screen since people have been placing in the past 10 minutes some of their contests. So yeah, I lean the over on Murray, but it's too close for me to want to bet it. But if you want to bet it for the pure fact that if he makes 3s today, then Jamal Murray's going to come out and get you anywhere from probably 1 to 4. If he makes 1 to 4 threes today, you're looking at $3 to $12 in site credits. So the promo's nice. It's like a fun thing to do, especially if he has one of those days where he hits 8 threes, right? Now you're making $20 just on site credits alone. He's obviously winning you your fantasy bet on that one. So it correlates well for you. But it's not enough. Like if they said they'll give you $10 per 3, I'd play it. But honestly, for me, it's not enough for me to move the needle and get him into more of my lineups. We need some FanDuel plays as well, my man. Yeah, what's going on, RJ Visual? I haven't touched the FanDuel site in probably 2.5, 3 years, so I can't help you out there too much. One of my favorite features on Patreon is the Discord. Love hearing that, my man. Love hearing that. Terrence Ross and Chase and Randall are out. Correct. I'll be updating the projections on Patreon in 20 minutes for those guys being out. Kendrick Nunn at 9.5 real points on Prize Picks. Easy over, right? By the way, Sal, here in the live stream, what's good? Great to be in the live stream. What's going on, bro? Get bodied. How you doing, boss, man? Kendrick Nunn on 9.5 real life points on Prize Picks. I'd lean the over on that. Yep, assuming he starts. Sal, can you give my dog Fancy a shout out? Fancy, what a name for a dog. Yeah, what's going on, Belle? How you doing? Shout out Fancy. You like chalky players for the Millie? What are you talking about for the Millie? I don't play the Millie Maker. Is there a Millie Maker tonight, or is that on Wednesday? But I'm not going to be playing it. Yeah, you have to play chalk in the NBA. If you're not playing chalky players in the NBA, you're just probably losing. There's a reason why. It's the most projectable sport because you just need a couple of variables to feel good about it, right? Minutes, if you can project minutes accurately, point per minute production, which is a combination of rebounding, the defense, right, your usage, all this stuff, you can project it pretty closely. So, yeah, if you were in this chat yesterday, you know that we like to play small field contests, 1,000 or 500 people or less ideally. So I only have to get different in 1 to 2 to 3 spots, sometimes usually 1 to 2 spots. So I can play 4 or 5 pieces of quote unquote chalk if I want to. But today it looks like there's a ton of great low owned guys. There's like balanced ownership up top and then a bunch of great low owned guys. Thank you for the super chat, Dell, by the way. Your favorite contrarian GPP spend up options today. My favorite contrarian GPP spend up options today. That's probably a pretty good question. I would say that it's interesting because, who's a spend-up option to you, right? There's 3 or 4 on this slate. And right now, it doesn't look like Nikola Jokic is going to pick up that much ownership. It's really hard to get 2 studs in your lineup. So it looks like most of the ownership is going to James Harden. So guys like Nikola Jokic today are coming in with 12% ownership. Guys like Russell Westbrook are coming in with 10% ownership. So, I like James Harden, but if you're saying contrarian, so not him, I would just rank it out because the rest of the guys are not picking up ownership. So Jokic, Lillard, Westbrook, in that order probably. Does Rose out make anybody a yes for you? Did Rose get officially rolled out? What's up, fellas? I'm late. Sorry, Dollarooski time. Gasol is slower than the steam off of an... Yeah, we started to see Gasol break down last year in the playoffs with the Raptors. It was just a brutal sight to see in the bubble. Did Derrick Rose get officially rolled out? Did I miss that? Because people are saying it more often. I'm not seeing it anywhere unless this happened overnight. I'm not seeing it anywhere. Rose out make anybody a yes. So Rose being out would make me more interested to get to Alec Burks. It would make me more interested to get to Alec Burks, but he's not officially ruled out yet. You have both real sports takes and fantasy sport takes. Great stuff always, Sal, says Parker Richards. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. We try to pay attention, man. We try and not pay attention, no? Chase says, I did prize picks under on 2 goalies yesterday. First time watching NHL, won 3x my bet. Hee hee. There you go. What an introduction to the NHL. Just some dollar whiskey. Sal, those prescriptions, if they are not, you should get sunglasses, my guy, to have more swag with that shirt. No homo. This is swag, man. What are you talking about? These are not prescription. No. These are blue light glasses. Because I got that ring light right there. You can see in the glasses. And then I got some other fucking lights all around me. And I've been looking at them for hours long today. So, they're making my eyes very lightheaded if I don't keep these things on. And then I'm going to die. We ain't trying to die. Live in Ohio, those car insurance calls are some BS, somebody says. Yeah, they're always BS. Hey, Sal, what are your top 3 prize picks today? So, I mean, we're still waiting on news for Harden. Because if Harden drops, I just really want to go after like the overs on all these other Brooklyn guys. Give me DeAndre Jordan. Give me Joe Harris. Those are the other Brooklyn guys. But I don't know if I have like a firm top 3, but I like the over on McCollum, 34. I like that. People are not going to think he's going to play the minutes that he's going to play today. If the game stays close, McCollum is going to get his normal minutes back. I like the over Schroeder, 33. Dennis Schroeder in that last game, you can see right here. We can pull up, actually, this one will do better here. So Dennis Schroeder in that last game, he lost like 4 minutes at a minimum, but probably in that game ended up losing closer to, my guess on Dennis Schroeder's lost minutes would be 6, 7. We talked about in the video this morning from both foul trouble and then the game blowing out in the final 2 minutes, minute 45. So he's going to play 34, 35 minutes. And he's going to average over a fantasy point per minute many of those times. And he's only at 33. So Schroeder looks like my favorite option with McCollum on the overs. And then some unders I like are Andrew Wiggins under 37.5. Somebody told me it went down, though. So now I'll probably stay away from it. And Zion under 44. So those are some options. Again, if you want to sign up for Prize Picks, you can see that code SAL. It's linked right now in the description if you want to try it out. You don't have to put all the way up to 100. You just get free money. You put 20 in, they'll give you $20 back right away in credit. So you should be sure to, indeed, check it out. Thanks, Al. Just subscribe. Thoughts on... Oh, you just subscribed, my man. Riley, are you new here? You just subscribing and you're super chatting? Generous person. He says, thanks, Al. I just subscribed. Thoughts on Philadelphia players. Best values under $4,500 on FanDuel today. So I'll be honest with my man. You super chatted, so I want to help you out, but I haven't played FanDuel in like 2 years. I play Super Draft and DraftKings predominantly. In the last 2 weeks to 3 weeks, we've been playing, well, this year specifically, we're playing more Jock Market, but also in the last 2 to 3 weeks, we're playing a lot more Prize Picks. Because these projections, we're kind of crushing it out of the park, if I do say so myself. Puff out our own chest here, slap ourselves in the back. But I can give you a pretty detailed breakdown of Philadelphia. I appreciate the super chat there. So from a Philadelphia standpoint today, if I had to rank this team right now, it's kind of all over the place still. I'd probably rank it my favorite option right now, and I can give you overall in my ratings. So I'll give you my exact ratings on Philadelphia today. So let's pull up Philly. Get the minutes on the screen right now. We'll blow up those minutes right here. There you go, good sir. You can see some of the minutes on the screen. Get main off there. So Philadelphia in my ratings right now in terms of my overall favorite plays from Philly. They're all very close. And I'll be honest with you, none of them look great. If the prices on FanDuel are significantly different, then maybe you want to get there. I would rank it right now. Number 1, Tobias Harris. Number 2, Simmons. Number 3, Dwight Howard. Number 3, Furkan Korkmaz. And number 4, Korkmaz, and number 5, Shake Milton. None of them grayed out as top plays for me. So those are like how I rank Philly independently, but my number 1 Philadelphia play today, who is indeed Tobias Harris, who we just mentioned, is my number 22 play in the day. So none of them even cracked my top 20 today. It's a tough spot with all the price points where they're at. Who are your top forwards for today, not counting centers? Top forwards for today, not counting centers. Good question there. Kelly Oubre will be contributing as a forward today. So we like Kelly Oubre. We like Brandon Ingram. And it really falls off after that. Like I'm looking at Kelly Oubre and Brandon Ingram as the top forward options today. And then after that, you're quickly down to a bunch of not great guys like Paul Millsap. And that's why he's picking up ownership to fill that position. I believe that Evan Fournier is no longer forward eligible, sadly for us. Then Tobias Harris, right? So I've got 2 forwards right now in Brandon Ingram and Brandon Ingram and Kelly Oubre. I've got 2 forwards currently in my top 11. Then they start to fall off. Who's an absolute must start today? James Harden, if he plays, is an absolute must start today. He is the only absolute must start. Enes Kanter, I would say, is close, but there's so many good centers and nice value centers that he can't be a lock by any means. So how did your girl do on Prize Picks last night? I'm trying to remember. We were trying to remember this earlier. John Wall got there. We had a 4-way, $20 for $200. I think somebody in the chat followed it and tailed it. One person didn't work. I don't have like the sign into her account right now. Otherwise, I'd look. One person didn't work for her. Was it Lori? I'm trying to think who it was. It was either Lori Markin, and I know John Wall got us there. So that one was easy. I know SGA got us there because he had a nice game later on in that one. So we hit 3 out of the 4, but we didn't do. We should, if we would have done the other thing, we would have actually made 2 times the money. But we went all the way for the 4x multiplier. I told her just go boom or bust. Isn't format to win money on DK? What do you mean format to win money? I don't know what that means. Dog shoutouts. My dog is Kofi Kingston. Piade, lol. Isn't Kofi Kingston like a WWE fighter? If Harden is out, will more people filter to Jokic or Westbrook? I think more people will filter to Jokic immediately after that. But all of those guys will see a bump. Jokic will be 20% owned. Westbrook will be 16 to 18% owned. Lillard will be close to 20% on all of them. Oh, somebody says Ross is out, not Rose. Gotcha. Rose isn't reported out on FanDuel. Ross, not Rose. Gotcha. Maybe I'm slow. I cannot access the Discord. Everybody is blank for me. Help, please. Yeah, what's going on? You have to link your Discord. So if you're in, if you're saying everybody is, so I'll pull it up right here. If you're saying that everybody is, what are you saying? Everybody is just blank for me. If you're saying everybody's blank, you pull up the Discord right here. You zoom in, and this channel right here, it's called Sync Patreon Help. You click on that, and there's going to be Patreon Help right here. There'll be a video to show you how to link your Patreon to the Discord. If you're not a Patreon, you won't have access to the Discord. Discord is only for Patreon members because I don't want a bunch of people coming in there. I did it in the past, like 2 or 3 years ago. We had a Discord for whoever wanted to join. It seemed like a good idea right away. And then we got like 500 to 700 people in there, and I shut the whole thing down. I literally just shut it down overnight because there's people being like, I didn't want to be associated with people who were just being like vulgar in there. Didn't want to be associated with people who were just being like assholes in there, self-promoting in there. So I said, I'm not dealing with this shit. So the only people who get in are the people that actually want to be a part of the community. And to do that, you join the Patreon. Bulls, it was Markkinen who killed me. Yeah, Markkinen would be the answer then. You the Blummin man, Sal, says Leroy. What does Blummin man mean, man? What's that mean? You put the fist, so I assume that means a good thing. You have to be signed up for a higher tier on Patreon, I believe. No, any Patreon member has access now. Until this month. March was the month that we changed it. Since we offered the optimizer for the higher tiers, we opened up Discord for everybody. Sal, my man, what's going on? Jose Abreu, former New York Yankee, former Chicago White Sox, former Angel. Danny Green, 22 fantasy points on Prize Picks today. I've got Danny Green projected out today for 20.86, so it's a no bet for me. Do you like any single stats on Prize Picks? I haven't had the need to go to them because every single day I see like 6 to 8 player fantasy points that I like, and there's more of an edge in fantasy points in my opinion because it combines all the edges that you have. If you have a half a rebound edge in your projections on a player, and then you have a half a rebound edge on that player's assists, you're now going to have the combination of those and have a 1.5 to 2.5 fantasy point projection edge. So I lean to those instead. I don't play the single stats yet. There's nothing wrong with them, but my projections, the way that I have it set up, it's going to benefit me a lot more to be taking those over-unders compared to just the single stats because I have 3 times the edge instead of going to each individual stat, where it's so much more marginal for them to hit for you. Any Michael Carter-Williams? Not right now, but I'll be honest with you, I have to update the projections. So I have to update the projections for those guys being ruled out. We'll update them in about 10 minutes once this stream is over. Appreciate the advice. Thank you. No problem. Who do you have projected for more fantasy points between Butler, Simmons, and Ingram today? I believe the answer is going to be Butler for me. I currently have Butler at 46.2, Simmons at 44.3, and Ingram at nowhere near any of those guys at 40.7. Do you think Poole is a decent play? I think he's a very good play. Yeah, I think that Jordan Poole is one of the top plays today. He was in our video earlier this morning. Jordan Poole's my number 5 overall play. He's one of my 9 yeses. Don't have many yeses today. He is one of those yeses. So I'm going to update Orlando projection-wise. Just kind of a quick peek at what's going to happen. I got to fix my shirt. With now Terrence Ross out and Chase and Randall, some pretty decent guards out. Michael Carter-Williams will likely jump into being a top 15, top 20 play. Evan Fournier will jump up. So I'll kind of do these projections on my back end right now so we can talk about them. So they're gonna stop jumping to being a lot better plays. So Evan Fournier right now for me is gonna grade out. I already had him as an okay play. I had Fournier for 33.52 points once I changed his point per minute production in his minutes now. I have Fournier at 36.1, so he starts to grade out as a very strong option for me. I have Aaron Gordon now at 35.7, so he's still a maybe in play. Vooch goes from 45.5 to 47.6. He looks okay, but not great. I now have Michael Carter-Williams at 27.9, so he's going to grade out as a strong play at 5,300. I'm actually going to make Michael Carter-Williams a yes right now. So Terrence Ross being out and Chase Randall being out is pretty massive. It's 38 minutes, especially at that guard position. They now have to go around and be filled by some other players. I don't really have any interest in anybody else, though. Like, I'm not going to be getting to Al-Farouq Amino. Somebody else can waste their money on that, to be honest with you. I'm not going to be getting to James Ennis. I'm not going to be getting to, like, Chuma, although he won't see much of a bump, right? Ken Birch will see somewhat of a bump. Dwayne Bacon will see a decent minutes bump, but fantasy points-wise, I have him at 13.3. So that's how I'm playing this right now. I'm going to update the projections I like now, so I'll let you know where they rank out overall. This is so we've been getting some news on this right now. I'm going to update the projections right now on the Patreon streets for all of you folks out in there, and you can see the exact projections. But to update now the top 12, we might have some guys sneaking in there for Orlando with this news of 38 guard minutes to go around. With this new updated news, we now have Evan Fournier in the projections as my number 7 play. Michael Carter-Williams is now my number 12 play. So both of those fellows have jumped into the Dollarooski dozen right now, the top 12 plays in the day. Not the Baker's dozen, just the normal Dollarooski dozen. Evan Fournier, a top 10 play. Michael Carter-Williams, a number 12 play. So Ross plus C. Randall are out. Patreon will be updated and hitting your airwaves in 3, 2, 1, save. The email is sent out. Can't decide what to do with center. Can't pay it for Jokic, or what's a solid spend down option. Nicholas Claxton would be a solid spend down option. A very, very strong play who will have ownership, but still a very strong play today, who's both a spend down option if you're talking about just not the bottom price, but spend down option for the upside, is Enes Kanter at 6,400. What is the easiest format to win on DK? If you're talking like easy, like I don't know what you mean by easy, my man. I'll be honest with you. Single entry and 3 max are my favorite contests. Small field will be the easy. Oh, if you're talking about to just win and you don't care how much money you're winning and what your upside is, cash. You just have to beat one person. If you play a traditional cash game, you literally have to beat one person, right? So that would be your easiest format. But if you're talking about easiest format with some upside on top of it, yeah, it's going to change. I don't know why this is slowing down on my end, but it's going to change. It's going to be small field, single entry, and 3 max, in my opinion, at that point. I don't know. We're lagging a little bit right now. Hopefully that, I never know why this happens. We drop like CPUs. We're back now, though. I got to see. I don't know if there's anybody out there right now who's like a computer tech guy. I got to go find a nerd support guy at Best Buy or whatever they're called, because I got another screen over here that I literally haven't used. It's literally a dust collector. There's dust on my hands. I haven't used it in like 2 months because whenever I am trying to go live through OBS and put 2 screens on, everything slows down. Like I can't even have other browsers open. It's just a whole shit show. What priority order you got for the Knicks right now? None of those guys are like really that great to me. I'll be honest with you. So none of the Knicks in general are priorities for me. I think Randall's a nice lower owned option. It would be Randall. So actually Barrett would be the lower owned option. It would be Barrett, Randall, and Derrick Rose if he plays right now for me. Alec Burks would see the biggest bump if Rose was to miss. Love for Rui Hachimura tonight? No. Why no FanDuel love? Haven't played it in a couple years. Don't like their format. Don't like their customer support. Don't like the way that they handle the mistakes that they make in terms of refunding players. Just don't like the way that they set up their product 2 or 3 years back. And it takes a lot to try and get me to spend more time on a new platform now. Look, I'm not playing $50,000 a slate. So if you're somebody who's doing this for a living and or is just a complete degenerate and trying to get more action down on other sites, I can get all the action I need down on DraftKings and SuperDraft and now Prize Picks. I ain't out here slinging around $25,000 a night in DFS. I don't know how many people really are. So I don't know why people complain about needing more action. I just personally don't like FanDuel. It's no hatred or anything. I just don't enjoy playing the experience over there. Could be different for you, no doubt about it. You can have a totally different experience, but if I'm only trying to play $1,500 to $2,000 a night, right? That's my bankroll for NBA DFS. It's different for NFL because it's only once a week, right? But if I'm playing $1,500 to $2,000 a night in NBA DFS, $2,500 some nights, I can get that all down on DraftKings and SuperDraft and Prize Picks, right? Roll with Vooch or drop to Kanter. I'd rather have Kanter. Do you like pool first half on Prize Picks? I'd like taking the entire game. I don't like first half stats. Give me the entire game. More of a sample size. It was Clint Capella who messed us up. Alex Lynn against New York. Alex Lynn looks fine. That big energy Patreon is fire. My man Jonathan put about 10 flames in there. Can't emphasize that enough. I don't even know Sal. Just letting y'all know what's worth the deal for Patreon. Thanks, man. We put a lot into that Patreon. We put a lot into. Look, that optimizer's not free. We're slinging out dough for that optimizer just to support the NBA. It's $500 a month. just to have access to the optimizer. We're working with one of the patrons, and he's doing a fantastic job. But just to support that NBA, we're slinging out $500 Ruskies a month just to have that as a feature. I can't even imagine when the NFL comes, but I saw, okay, there's value in this. This is something because of the community. It's literally written in the original bio on Patreon. Like, this is going to allow me to spend more time on this craft of mine, being my full-time job now, and bring even more tools and value to you. In doing that, right, people supporting us being able to bring in revenue to the business. We want to give back. We want to offer tools like the optimizer. Bam. You don't got to pay if you're a Hall of Fame member, if you're a priority member already. You're just getting it. The Discord, bam, you don't got to pay extra. It's now included for everybody, right? Things like that. And more are going to be coming. In the background, we're slowly working on transitioning Patreon to a WordPress site with the whole purpose of giving you more opportunities. Me reaching out randomly to you and saying, hey, you've been supporting me for like a year and a half. I'm going to give you next month for free. Don't worry about it. It's on me, right? I don't have that access with Patreon right now. I can't do stuff like that. Me bringing in more tools, me bringing on more people to put in more tools or to make more content each day, right? Whatever it might be, articles. I don't know if I want to go that route. I'll be honest with you. I don't have any interest in blogging. You know, it's like the dying breed out there. If you find any 13-year-old right now and you think that they're going to be reading a fucking blog in 5 or 10 years, you're tripping, right? But yeah, those are things that I want to do. And yeah, the Patreon support, the whole enterprise that we have right here. So as much as we can support and give back with value is the way to go. So if you want to sign up for that Patreon, you can come join the family. If not, keep kicking it in these hangouts every single day. Hey Sal, do you like Ingram or Bam more on Superdraft tonight? Thanks. Let me get you that answer right now in the projections. So Ingram and Bam on Superdraft. I'll take right now, because of the higher multiplier, Ingram at 1.35x. They're very similar options. If you have my projections, they're back-to-back right now. Both of them top 10 plays. Bam has that slight higher multiplier though. Went over on Fournier now. He's got it. Yeah, so Fournier probably looks a little bit better now over on Prize Picks. I think you could probably take the over on Fournier. I've been looking like a good play. We just updated it. Would you throw down 1K on Prize Picks straight because you Tiger says, would you throw down 1K on your Prize Picks straight because you on your projections? I have a bankroll every single night, so I'm not putting 1K on Prize Picks just yet. We put a certain amount into Prize Picks to start, and it's grown, and we're playing with it. But I would not be throwing down 1K right now. I don't know if you're asking me or yourself. But I have bankrolls, and I have it all allocated to how much I want to play on there. But you have to also keep in mind, my projections, they've been very nice. They're not going to win every single night for you. No projections are, right? They're factoring in median projections. They can't take into account guys getting injured. They can't take into account guys shooting 10% that night when their season average is 56%, right? They can't take into account blowouts, right? Foul trouble. They're not going to. They're median projections. So most of the time, they're going to work out for you. You put in 1K tonight and you lose all that money, I mean, that's on you. That's bad contest selection. That's bad bankroll management. You should never put 100% of your bankroll in play unless for whatever reason you think you have a 100% chance of winning, right? So no, I would not put $1,000 into my Prize Picks tonight just because I think they're automatically locks. There is no locks on the Prize Picks slate tonight. There are 4 to 6 very good plays compared to my projections. No locks, though, in contests, especially if you're going to parlay them all together and not do the flex play. Fournier over Barrett then? Yes, for me. Sal, your projections related to Prize Picks, or are they for DraftKings? Says Overreaction Sports. They're for DraftKings. The Prize Picks only difference right now is that a steal and a block is worth 3 points instead of 2 points. So, like, some of these guys' projections will be off by like a half a point, but that's about it. News on Harden yet? Josh Richardson in the chat. We got another NBA player in the chat. What's going on, Josh? How you doing today? Yeah, so news on Harden? No news on Harden yet. Rui has been a healthy selection lately. Rui Hatch been a healthy selection. What does that mean, healthy? Like a good one? Yeah, he's getting the minutes now. Who's the best Warrior option for tonight? So we'll pull up Golden State's minutes right now as we finish up on some of these final questions. If you want to get a question, you can leave a super chat if you want it desperately answered. Otherwise, we've been live for an hour, so I'm going to bounce soon. My favorite Warrior option today is Jordan Poole, then Kelly Oubre, then Wiggins, then Damian Lee, then Draymond. That's my 5 ranked guys there. Do you like playing multipliers on DK? I don't even know what multipliers on DK is. They added a super draft format over there. I'm not sure what that is. Degrees in network engineering and computer science here, Sal. I'm in the Discord so we can talk about it. Yeah, Jay Brown. Yeah, reach out to me in there. Or reach out to me on Twitter because there's not like previous one-on-one conversations in Discord anymore. I was getting way too many people to spam me and just like reach out for this guy or this guy at the weirdest of times. So I did not want that. So I took off DMing. Thanks for all you do, Sal. Thanks for being here, man. Is Ariza play today? Not for me. Any love for Barton? He's like a fringe play for your player pool. Tacos or burritos? I'm a fan of both. Tacos are usually just lighter. Do you have Yahoo projections? No, I do not. I have Superdraft and DraftKings projections right now. Any interest in DeAndre Ayton tonight? He's in a player pool, but actually, is he in a player pool? Yeah, he's in a player pool, but not strong interest. There's just so many better center options. Alrighty, so I appreciate all the 300 of you that are in here. If you would, if you're not already, take a second of your time. If you enjoyed the stream, if you want to tune into more later in the week, we'll be live at 4:30 to 5 p.m. depending on what time the slate starts each night. So just hit the like button, right? But the big one, the subscribe button and the notification bell, let you know when we go live, subscribing to this channel, supporting the community. We'll let other people also see this valuable content, or at least if you find it valuable. So do all those things. I appreciate that a ton. My Wi-Fi is like turning red right now. I don't know what's happening with that, so I wanted to check to make sure it's still plugged in. It is. So be sure to support the sponsor of the show, Prize Picks. We went over some of the top plays right now. So some of the plays on Prize Picks, you can go over. You can get them right now. We like now the over on Fournier. We already like some of the other options that we gave you throughout this show. Some guys that there's some unders on, like Zion. I still like the under. The over on Dennis Schroeder right now, right? The over on CJ McCollum. So you can check those out. Use the code SAL, linked in the description below. You can take advantage of that. Sal, please answer me first, says Braden. He says, hey, Sal, sorry if you answered this already. I just got here. Favorite play, Super Draft guard forward today. My man wants to know his entire Super Draft lineup. I'm factoring in the multipliers. I don't have a favorite. I'm going to be honest with you. I have top projected guys. None of these guys look like the standout locks of the night, right? Like Harden has a high projection, but he's a 1x multiplier. So, I mean, some nice forwards are Brandon Ingram at a 1.35x multiplier. In terms of guards, Lillard at 1.1, Harden at 1x. I think that you get a nice multiplier, though, on RJ Barrett 1.6x. Liked and subscribed, says Rick. Welcome in. Any love for Westbrook? If Harden is out, my love will increase. I prefer Damian Lillard right now, though. I prefer Harden, Jokic, Lillard, and Westbrook in that order tonight. They all look good, though. Alrighty. See you out. I don't know what I'm about to say. I'm about to pass the fuck out. I try to say see you out later. See you out later. That's not going to work. See you later, guys. Appreciate you tuning in. And to the ladies, the gentlemen, the fellas. If you want to join up to the Patreon community, join into that. That's also linked down below if you want to check it out. I'll pull it up right now, actually. We can pop a link into the description below. There's the link. Thank you, buddy. Always appreciate it. No problem, man. No problem. Peace out, everybody. I'll see you all tomorrow. Content for the Wednesday slate tomorrow. Golf starts tomorrow morning at 6:45 a.m. at Lock, so be sure to check that out. The video's already out this week. The tools are already on Patreon. Ownership will be added later today. Peace out, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day. Hey, what you doing? I'm just trying to dance.